Hello everybody, Film Fan 108 here with another Netflix Nights, and this time I am doing my thoughts on The Magnificent Seven from 2016. Now, of course, this is a remake of the original Magnificent Seven that came out, and that film is actually a remake of a Japanese film called The Seven Samurai. So there's been a lot of remakes of this film. There's been a lot of adaptations. So before we get into what my thoughts are on it, let's check out what the good folks over at Netflix have for a synopsis for us, shall we? Let's check it out. In this remake of the rousing 1960 Western, a motley group of gunslingers comes together to protect the residents of a mining town who are being terrorized and victimized by a ruthless gold tycoon and his gang of thugs. Rated PG-13, and again from 2016. So, there you go. And right off the bat, I think the thing to talk about with this movie specifically is the fact of Westerns nowadays are not really being made all that often anymore. They're really not. I mean, you'll see the occasional Western, but really, honestly, the Western has really went towards the wayside and kind of died. And it's a shame because I feel like there's been some good ones. I really liked the remake to 310 to Yuma, which I thought was actually really darn good, to be honest with you. And I think if you make them good enough, people are going to come see it. I really do. And with this movie specifically, they got a ton of quality actors to be in this. From Denzel Washington, Ethan Hawke, Chris Pratt, Vincent D'Onofrio, Peter Sarsgaard. Oh man, I'm obviously leaving people out. It's just a huge, vast catalog of really well-known actors who are really good at their craft, and they bring a lot to the roles. The acting is good in here. For what it is, the acting actually is really, really solid, and I think it's actually probably what I think keeps the film afloat, because to be honest with you, I think the movie's just okay. I think the action sequences are just okay. I think they're filmed alright. I just think that they're not as rousing of action scenes as I might want. And again, I really loved the 310 to Yuma remake. So I'm looking at 310 to Yuma, and I'm looking at this film, and I'm saying they're both Westerns, they're both good movies, but one has a little bit more over the other. And again, I think things like action sequences sort of take a little bit more from that. And also, I think the plot is not as good as it could be. You have basically this motley group of people going after this gold tycoon played by Peter Sarsgaard, and I understand why the female lead in the movie is going after him. You find out early on, hey, you know, he killed her husband, she's out for revenge, but you never really get the sense that anybody else really, I mean, they're terrified of this guy. You can clearly see they're terrified of this guy. The other residents, people in other towns, but it feels like they don't really want to do anything about it. It's really only her that is taking a proactive role in this. If it wasn't for her, people like Denzel Washington and Chris Pratt and people like that would just go on with their lives. I don't think they would necessarily... I mean, they would care that somebody's, taking over towns and everything like that, but I don't necessarily think that they would be going out of their way to attack this guy. Now, later on, when you find out more of Denzel Washington's character's motivation, it kind of makes more sense. But again, he never was going after the guy beforehand anyways. It took her to really sell him on the fact of going after him that he went. So again, the plot motivation is a little bit weak in that regard, just a little bit. And also, I think, as I said, the action scenes are just okay. I also feel they kind of shy away from the violence just a little bit. What I mean by that is, when they shoot people, you don't really feel the impact of it. It's definitely PG-13. They're definitely not really going for the impact of what a bullet does to a guy. They're not really going for it. Now, I don't need like huge blood splatter all over the place like you got with something like Django Unchained. I don't need over operatic blood just shooting everywhere. I don't need that, but I do need a little bit more. I need a little bit more like just hard hitting. This is what going to battle does, and this is how it affects people. You don't really feel it all that much, and I think that's another issue with the movie. And again, it's a studio movie. It's a studio movie, and I don't think that they're willing to really go a little bit more hard-hitting because they want to get the family audiences in there. They want to try to get people to watch it, and they don't want to water it down, but they don't want to make it too bloody either. So there's a real sort of level that they're trying to get to, and I don't think they succeed at it all that much. So there's that too. Beyond that, honestly, I think the movie's decent. I think the movie's, by the way, over 2 hours long. I don't think this movie needed to be 2 hours long at all. After a while, it feels its length. You feel like you're sitting there. Even when I was sitting on the couch here watching it, honestly, I just was starting to feel the length. I was like, okay, we could have cut some time out of this. We could have cut some time out of it. We could have done this. Let's get it going a little faster. Let's keep it moving. So it didn't really need to be that long, I don't think. I think for something like Westerns, unless you're telling a really sprawling story, I would maybe keep it an hour and 45, maybe an hour and 50, and just cut it, and that's it. I think anything over 2 hours, I think you're kind of really stretching your length, and I think you're really starting to wear on the audience just a little bit. This picture also was directed by Antoine Fuqua, who Denzel Washington has worked with a lot in the past, and he's genuinely a really good filmmaker, so he's not bad. He's just one of those directors that is definitely part of the studio system. You could tell that he takes the studio notes and he's going to go along with it as long as maybe he can get a little bit of leeway on his end. And again, I do feel the movie's a little bit of a compromise of stuff that he wanted, stuff that the studio wanted, and sometimes you have to do that. Compromise isn't bad. It's actually one of the good things about Hollywood, because sometimes you end up getting great results. This is just so-so to me. Again, it's not terrible, it's not great, it's an in-between sort of Western movie where, you know, it's not going to hurt you to watch it, but I don't think you're going to come away from the movie feeling like it was necessary or feeling like you needed to go out of your way to watch it. Like I said, if it's on HBO or one of the channels that you could watch it on, or Netflix streaming service, watch it. But as far as really going out of your way to watch it, I would stick with the original. I'd stick with the original, and I'd stick with a lot of the newer stuff that's coming out. Again, like 310 to Yuma, as I said, that's really good. Or go back and check out the older stuff. Check out movies like Unforgiven, which is really good. And, man, I'm trying to think of all the good Western movies that have come out lately. Again, Westerns are honestly a dying genre in Hollywood. Very few and far between. But, you know, like I said, it's not bad. It's okay. So, that's my thoughts on The Magnificent Seven. And so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Comment down below and let me know what you guys thought of it. If you guys really enjoyed it, what you think of the Western genre, and if it can really be revived, if it can actually, you know, keep on making good films in a modern era. Because I think a lot of times in the older era, black and white, I think they were doing a hell of a job with these movies. Nowadays, with a lot of the CGI and everything, something is sort of lost in translation with it. It's not as authentic as I think it could be. So, let me know what you guys think. And if you like this video, hit that like button. And if you like all the content that I've been doing as of late, hit subscribe and you're definitely going to get more of it. Also, I'm on Twitter at filmfan108.com. I was going to say .com, whoops. Filmfan108. So if you guys want to connect with me on there, connect with me, and I would love to talk with you guys, and I will see you next time for another Netflix Nights. Alright guys? Take care.